There are places in the world that seem to erase themselves from history, as if they were never meant to exist in the first place. These are not places destroyed by war, natural disasters, or time, but locations that simply vanish, leaving behind no clear evidence that they were ever real. Entire towns, once filled with daily routines, familiar faces, and ordinary lives, disappear without warning or explanation. Streets that once echoed with footsteps fall silent. Homes that once held families become nothing more than empty shells of memory. No ruins remain to tell their story. No survivors come forward to explain what happened. What is left behind is an unsettling silence, broken only by rumors, fragments of forgotten documents, and unanswered questions that continue to haunt those who search for the truth. These places challenge everything we believe about reality, history, and permanence, forcing us to confront the terrifying possibility that entire communities can be erased without leaving a trace. Before it disappeared, the town was unremarkable in every possible way. It was not famous, wealthy, or strategically important. Families had lived there for generations, building their lives slowly over time. Children walked to school along the same cracked sidewalks each morning. Shop owners opened their doors at sunrise, greeting neighbors they had known their entire lives. Evenings were quiet, predictable, and safe. Nothing about the town suggested danger or instability. There were no reports of unusual behavior, no signs of unrest, and no indication that anything was wrong. To outsiders, it was just another place on the map. Easy to ignore, easy to forget. And yet, this ordinary nature is what makes its disappearance so disturbing. If something like this could happen to a town so normal, so invisible, then it could happen anywhere. On the final night before the town vanished, something changed. Residents in nearby areas later reported strange disturbances that they could not explain at the time. The town's lights began to flicker violently, not in the way of a simple power failure, but as if the electrical system itself was struggling against an unseen force. A deep, unnatural humming sound filled the air, low and constant, growing louder with each passing minute. Witnesses described the sound as heavy and oppressive, a vibration that could be felt deep in the chest rather than heard with the ears. Windows rattled. Animals became restless. Some people claimed the sound made them feel anxious, disoriented, or suddenly afraid for reasons they could not explain. And then, without warning, everything stopped. The silence that followed was immediate and absolute. The lights went out completely. The humming sound vanished as if it had never existed. No emergency calls were made from the town. No alarms were triggered. Communication with the area was suddenly impossible. It was as if the town had been cut cleanly from the rest of the world in a single moment. By the time authorities arrived the next morning, what they found was deeply unsettling. The town was still standing, untouched by fire, collapse, or destruction, yet completely empty. Meals sat cold on kitchen tables, partially eaten. Cars were parked neatly in driveways. Doors were unlocked. Beds appeared recently slept in. Everything suggested that life had been interrupted in the middle of ordinary moments, as if time itself had simply stopped. Investigators searched the area extensively, expecting to find signs of evacuation or violence, but there were none. No footprints led out of town. No tire tracks suggested a mass departure. No blood, no damaged buildings, no evidence of struggle. Even animals were gone. Pets, livestock, wildlife, all had vanished alongside the people. Search teams expanded the perimeter, digging, scanning, and documenting every possible detail, but the results were always the same. Nothing. The deeper they searched, the more disturbing the absence became. It was not just that the people were missing. It was as if they had never left at all. As if the town had been emptied not by movement, but by removal. As days turned into weeks, theories began to circulate among investigators, locals, and those following the case from a distance. Some believed a classified military experiment had gone wrong, resulting in consequences too dangerous to be revealed to the public. Others suggested the town had been caught in a sudden dimensional shift, pulled into another layer of reality beyond our perception. Ancient legends from the region were revisited, describing places that vanished after uncovering forbidden knowledge or disturbing forces meant to remain undisturbed. These stories had long been dismissed as folklore, but now they felt uncomfortably relevant. No theory could fully explain the complete lack of physical evidence, and that uncertainty only deepened the fear surrounding the case. Eventually, the investigation began to slow. Media coverage faded. Official statements became vague and repetitive. Files were sealed without explanation. Maps were quietly altered, removing the town's name as if it had never existed. Those who asked too many questions were dismissed or ignored. Over time, the story slipped into obscurity, becoming nothing more than a whispered rumor or an obscure reference buried deep within forgotten archives. To most of the world, the town simply stopped existing, not just physically but historically, and that may have been the most disturbing outcome of all. Yet not everyone forgot. Some locals claim that on certain nights, faint lights can still be seen in the distance where the town once stood. Others report hearing a low humming sound carried by the wind, eerily similar to what was described on the night of the disappearance. If the town still exists somewhere beyond our understanding, trapped between realities or hidden from our perception, then one terrifying question remains unanswered. What force was powerful enough to erase an entire community in a single night? And more importantly, what happens if it happens again?